Hey folks, I've driven over 100 different vehicles this year, and since it's the end of 2021, I thought I'd look back at all my favorite trucks, cars, and SUVs. And since you're the best audience on YouTube, I'm bringing you to the big island of Hawaii. All right, truth be told, my wife wanted to go on vacation. Yes, you read the graphic right. It is a top 11 list because everybody does a top 10. I'm like Spinal Tap, I turn it up to 11. Now, I'm not doing perennial favorites like Honda Accord, Ford F-150, and Mazda Miata because we all know those are great vehicles. I'm looking at the ones that I've driven over the last year and have really, truly enjoyed, that have good value, great design, and super performance. Now, the first one on the list is one that is the least expensive. It starts at $21,500 with shipping and would be my vehicle of the year if I chose one. It is the Ford Maverick.
It's quite a machine if you can get one. Ford says they're literally sold out for 2022. The base model is a front-wheel drive hybrid that can get 40 miles per gallon in the real world. All-wheel drive is available only with the turbocharged gas engine powertrain. It can tow up to 4,000 pounds, hauls sheets of plywood, and has a payload capacity not far off of a Toyota Tundra. You might think an inexpensive pickup feels cheap and drives like a tractor. Wrong. It's shockingly good. The best thing about Maverick are the driving dynamics. It feels like a crossover. On-center feel is great. It tracks straight and true. No micro corrections. It's comfortable. It's quiet. Yeah, there's going to be a little bit of wind noise off the pillars, but overall, this is a nice rig. You could road trip in this easily. Go with the FX4 package if you intend to do any light off-roading. While the interior is basic, there's something endearing about the honest vibe, and Ford is offering instructions on how to add air compressors and do-it-yourself bike racks.
If the customer wants to build their own bike rack to hold them, you can scan the FlexBed QR code, which is on the bedside of all Mavericks, and we'll show you exactly what to buy and how to build this do-it-yourself bike rack for about $40.
Ford's execution of the Maverick is absolutely brilliant. It targets its demographic like a laser beam. Now let's move to the other end of the price spectrum with the Porsche Tycoon GTS.
Available in sedan and sport turismo body styles, it starts at $135,000 approximately, and realistically, most will option it up past $150,000. What you get for that sizable fee is a brilliant electric vehicle that charges quickly and takes on the Willow Springs International Raceway with no performance hiccups or brake fade. None.
Wow, I really need to get me one of these.
But the beauty of this machine is its dual personality. Wickedly fun on the track, it's perfectly docile and comfortable for commuting or heading off to Dairy Queen. The Sport Turismo, charging up the Angeles Crest Highway here, is the one to buy if you need extra cargo and rear headroom. And still, it's a looker.
The thing about the Tycoon, it is absolutely vault solid, no squeaks, no rattles, no quivers from the chassis.
All-wheel drive is standard, as is the larger battery pack. Frankly, if price were no object, this is the car that would grace my driveway, and I would definitely spring for the big glass roof, if only to play around with it. This is pretty cool. Feel free to tip your favorite car reviewer. I'm on Venmo.
All right, let's return to Earth with some affordable vehicles. Toyota is offering sports car enthusiasts an absolute gift with the 2022 GR86.
I'll throw in the Subaru BRZ as well, since the two are nearly identical, save for some fascia differences and a bit of suspension tuning. While people love the first generation, there was some griping about the power band and manual transmission action. Those wrongs have been righted. It's easier to drive the 86 hard now, with more torque lower in the power band. The great thing is you can feel the back end break out just a little bit. You can oversteer this car very nicely, very easily. This is the Monticello Motor Club track, and it was all grins with a very balanced chassis. It doesn't have the power output of the Taycan, but it's loads of fun pushing hard into corners. For everyday shenanigans, it's all the sports car you need, and it works well as an everyday driver, though the backseat and the trunk are on the small side. Bonus, it starts well under $30,000.
All right, let's move on to SUVs and crossovers. The mainstream two-row model that impressed me the most this year was the 2022 Hyundai Tucson. It's available with a naturally aspirated four-cylinder, a hybrid system, and a plug-in hybrid that gets 33 miles of all-electric range.
So with all those engine choices, it covers all bases.
Because this is a hybrid, you might think it's kind of pokey because they have that kind of reputation. Not really. I would say Tucson does 0 to 60 in about 7.5 seconds.
The design is faceted and bold, if not a bit polarizing, but it goes down the road very nicely. Spring for highway driving assist, and you get a very good semi-autonomous driving system that's a match for the ones found on luxury brands. Seriously. And the interior looks a grade more expensive than it is. And I'll sneak an extra vehicle in, the Hyundai Santa Cruz, because it's like a longer Tucson with a utility bed. More expensive than Maverick, the driving dynamics are top-notch. If this were a top 12 list, this would be on it.
For families that need 3 rows of seating, Kia absolutely nails the segment with the Telluride.
It's priced right, spacious, looks great, drives well, and gets an interior that delivers above its pay grade. There's a reason why Kia hasn't been able to make enough of them since it began production. Buyers have been paying over retail price since the day it came out, even before the chip shortage threw a monkey wrench into the automotive industry.
If you're thinking about pressing Telluride into road trip duty on a regular basis, you could do a lot worse. Moves down the highway very nicely, and it's fairly quiet.
I still feel like vans are the best family vehicles that money can buy, and Kia's Carnival is excellent, but Telluride is the fashion statement that people want these days. It's a terrific package.
All right, we're about halfway through this list. How about a moment of Hawaii Zen? And we're back. Sucks to be me. Now, the Genesis GV70 is a very good machine. The press association that I belong to gave it SUV of the year, but my choice is the GV80.
Not sure if it was the terrific paint or the aggressive sheet metal, but the 80 was second only to the Chevy C8 Corvette when it came to attracting attention. People just loved it.
Yeah, very impressive.
That's without even looking inside. Genesis gave owners a lovely place to spend time in. It's a package that doesn't copy other luxury automakers. Designers gave it a distinct character, and it's packed with tech.
GV80 has a self-parking system, and it works pretty well. It also has Smart Park, or as we all now know it, Smart Park. Let's say somebody has parked so close to your vehicle you can't get in. By using the fob, you can actually move the car forward so you can hop in. It also works going backwards, and it will stop automatically if somebody or something is in its way. Gotta say right now, glad my insurance is paid up.
Supposedly, Genesis is finally getting standalone dealerships in 2022, if that's a big deal to you, and it gets an excellent safety rating. Just ask Tiger Woods.
All right, another SUV. Come on, they're wildly popular now. There's going to be a lot of them on this list. One that I had a hard time giving back at the end of my week with it, the Land Rover Defender 110.
For starters, it looks terrific. Lots of heritage cues without heading into caricature territory. Same with the cabin that manages to be rugged and upscale at the same time. It's happy to do long distances on the highway.
Before I drove Defender, I figured it's going to have a pretty rough ride because, well, it's a very capable SUV and they have that kind of dynamic. But no, it's actually pretty darn comfortable. It tracks really well straight ahead on the highway. It's very surprising.
And of course, being a Defender, it clawed its way around the Dirtfish Rally School back 40 with ease.
I don't know. You'd have to be either very daring or kind of stupid to get this thing stuck. It just plows through, no sweat.
So, if you need a handsome everyday vehicle that can tackle severe terrain, you could do a lot worse than Defender.
All right, I promise this is the last SUV. Like the Defender, the Ford Bronco 2 and 4-door take a good solid scoop of heritage and give it a new mission.
It's now a fierce competitor to Jeep's Wrangler, a far cry from the F-150-based version that O.J. Simpson made famous, or infamous. Yes, as one would expect, it does the off-road thing very, very well, especially if ordered up with the Sasquatch package, and it can be had with a manual transmission. Okay, this is a combination of mud and rocks. Pretty nasty stuff. I really wish you could see how steep this is because the camera never shows it. I'm looking straight down. If you have the driving skill, Bronco can take you nearly anywhere. No special abilities needed for driving on-road. This is where the Ford separates itself from the Jeep. It's much more car-like than the Wrangler. Bronco is comfortable and it tracks pretty well when driving on the highway. Not an awful lot of road noise coming off the tires. So if it's a significant slog to the trailhead, drivers will arrive fresher in a Bronco. Okay, looking for a segue here. Another blue oval winner. Ford is really cleaning up this year. The Mustang Mach-E. This is the company's first dedicated all-electric vehicle, and it's a winner. Yeah, there's controversy about the Mustang name, and I feel like Ford could have stopped at Mach-E, and the Mustang vibe would have still gotten across, but whatever, especially in GT trim.
The GT is quicker than the standard Mustang Mach-E all-wheel drive. 0 to 60 happens in 3.8 seconds with this one. That's about a second quicker, and 3.8, that's Mustang Mach 1 territory.
There's Mustang performance without a doubt.
One thing about electric vehicles, instant power. It's really fun. No sound, but lots of power.
It's available in all sorts of configurations, from small battery and rear drive to large pack with all-wheel drive and the GT Performance editions. It's fast, handles great, has solid range, and the hatchback design makes it much more useful than the classic Mustang Coupe that it will probably outsell this year. Proof that Ford does electric extremely well. Looking forward to the F-150 Lightning.
Ford may not be making sedans anymore, but there are plenty of great ones for sale. One that should be on your test drive list, the newest version of the Honda Civic.
If you can believe it, this is now the 11th generation, and it gets the same look as Big Brother Accord, so there's some maturity in the lines. The biggest distinction is the new interior that steps up the style and function. There's a bit of mid-century modern design in here. I drove a top trim touring model from Seattle to Walla Walla, Washington. That's a 300-mile slog one way. It was crisp, comfortable, and fuel efficient. Now, there is no hybrid version of the Civic, but this gets decent fuel economy. I am seeing, as you can see there, 35 miles per gallon. Not too bad because I'm driving kind of fast. It's an excellent mainstream sedan, but it's much more than that. There's a hatchback version, plus, for those who like to drive, an SI and Type R model. For so many shoppers, Civic has the bases covered.
All right, time for the last one on my list. Drum roll, please. It's the performance bargain of the decade, the Chevrolet C8 Corvette.
General Motors did boost the price a bit for 2022, but still, the fact that the $62,000 base price buys a mid-engine V8 powered sports coupe, wow, that's hard to fathom when an Acura NSX is twice the price and a Ferrari, well, those are crazy expensive. Fast? Oh yes, 0 to 60 easily in 3 seconds flat. I think Car and Driver got 2.8. There are higher performance versions coming in 2022, including the much anticipated Z06 that packs 670 horsepower. Plus, there's always that perennial rumor of a high-performance electrified version. The Vet handles like a supercar, and yet it's really comfortable. Amazing considering the performance. I could drive cross-country in this car. Chevrolet, you listening? Want to set me up? I would do it. As it stands, it's tough to beat the thrills of even a base model, which is so capable, it's hard to explore the limits on public roads.
Well, those are my choices for 2021. Your wants and needs might be different than mine, so remember to test drive as many vehicles as possible, at least 3. And my best advice, as always, is to buy the one you love. You'll keep it longer, maintain it better, and you'll just be more satisfied with it. Thanks for watching. Here's hoping that 2022 is better than 2021. Not exactly a high bar, huh? That's Driven. I'm Tom Voelk.